Number 1, expand and simplify fully. X plus 1 times x plus 2 times x plus 3. So this is for expanding 3 brackets. Actually, we have the same concept as expanding 2 brackets. Same thing. So in here we have 3 like brackets inside, right? So you can like multiply this with this first, or this one with this first, or this one with this first. It's up to you. Okay, it's the same thing like if I have like 2 times 3 times 4. We can do this one first and then multiply with this, or we can multiply this first and then multiply with this. You'll get the same answer. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to write it. We're going to do it step by step, and we're going to do it from the first to the second bracket. So we're going to focus on this one first, these two, and then after we multiply them, and then we'll multiply this with this one. Okay, so we have x plus 1 and x plus 2. If we multiply that, we get x squared, because we do it like this, right? So it's distributive properties, like this one with this one, right? X squared, and this one with this one, which is going to be plus 2x, and then this one with this one, which is equals to plus 1x, or just x, and the last one is this one over here, which is plus 2. Okay, don't forget that we need to put bracket on it, and then the x plus 3, just rewrite them again because we haven't gone to that one. Okay, so the next one, we can simplify this expression here, in which we can combine these two because they are like terms. We know that 2x plus x is 3x, so we can write them down as x squared plus 3x plus 2, and then multiply that with x plus 3. Okay, so it's almost the same with the concept of like expanding 2 brackets, like this one here, like this one here, right? So you distribute all of the terms inside the bracket to the other bracket. So it's like you multiply this guy with all of them, and then this guy with all of them, and then this guy with all of them, right? So let's do it step by step. If I write it down like this, you can get like x squared, and you multiply it with x plus 3. Okay, maybe I'm gonna use other color for this time. Okay, so multiply this with all of them, so we get x plus 3, and then multiply the plus 3x with all of x plus 3, right? And then again multiply the plus 2, right, from here with x plus 3. Okay, now we can do the expanded bracket like you do when you like expanding only one bracket here. We can multiply again this with this one, and then this with this one, this with this one, and this with this one, and this one with this one, and this one with this one. Sorry. Okay, so we can just leave it like that. Okay, so let's do that. We have x squared times x will be x to the power of 3, or x cubed. Okay, x cubed is this one times this one, and then this one times this one is going to be plus 3x squared. Okay, the next one is 3x times x, we get 3x squared, and then this 3x times 3, which is going to be plus 9x, and then this is going to be plus 2x, and the last one will be plus 6. Okay, we're almost done because we still have like terms like this two, right? Because both of them have x squared. They're like terms because they have the exact same variables, so we can combine them. So the x cubed doesn't change. So this two, if I combine them, it's just like 3 plus 3, you will get x6 x squared. Okay, and then this one also 9x with 2x, because they both have the same exact variable, which is x. So you combine them, 9 plus 2 is equals to 11, so it's plus 11x plus 6. Okay, so this is the answer. Okay, another example, expand and simplify fully x plus 4 multiplied by x plus 2 square. Okay, so the first thing that you need to understand, we have this here, which is like is x squared, sorry, as x plus 2 squared. What does that really means? Okay, so remember, if in elementary school, if we have like 3 square, this is equals to 9. Where do we get the 9? Because 9 is 3 times 3, right? Because like we multiply this guy twice, right? 2 times. If I have like 4 to the power of 3, I will get like 4 times 4 times 4. So you multiply 4 3 times. It's the same thing like this one. For this one, we have x plus 2 square. So it's x plus 2 square means like we multiply this guy with this guy again twice. So it's like x plus 2 multiplied by x plus 2. Okay, the same thing if you encounter something like x plus 2 and then to the power of 3, maybe like you only need like to multiply this like for the number of power that you have here. So it's like x plus 2 times x plus 2 times x plus 2, and so on, so on, so on. Okay, so this is the very basic concept. Okay, so let's go to the question. Okay, so the first thing that we need to expand is the one that has the power, which is this one, right? So we're going to do that. Just like leave the x plus 4 for now. So let's focus on this one first. Okay, so x plus 4 we just read down like this, right? And then that one, if we expand that, we will get x plus 2 multiplied by x plus 2, right? Okay, so maybe I need to use other color. Okay, so that comes from here because it's square. Okay, the rest is just do the same thing like the previous example, right? So we multiply maybe this one with this one. The rest is just like multiplying like the previous example. We have x times x, which is x squared, and then x times 2, which is plus 2x, and then 4 times x is plus 4x, and the last one is x 4 times 2, which is equals to 8. Okay, again, don't forget to put the bracket and equal sign. And then the x plus 2 doesn't change. Okay, so we do the same thing again because we know we have this two terms, yeah, which is like terms. We have like the same exact variables, which is x, and 2x plus 4x is going to be equals to 6x. So we do that, and then we do the same thing like before. We multiply this guy with all of them in here, right? So we get x squared multiplied by x plus 2, and then plus 6x, multiply all of them by x plus 2, and then plus 8 and multiply all of them by x plus 2. Okay, so let's expand that. We get x cubed plus 2x squared plus 6x squared plus 12x plus 8x plus 16. Is to simplify because we know that we have another like terms like this 2x squared with 6x squared, right? Because both of them have the same exact variable, which is x squared, and then we have x cubed doesn't change. And for those two, we combine them. 2 plus 6 is equals to x 8x squared, and we have also 12x with 8x. Combine them, we get 20x, and then plus 16. Next example, expand and simplify fully 2m minus 5 to the power of 3. Okay, so as I previously said from the previous example, so this guy here is the power, means that we need to multiply this guy 3 times. Okay, so again, 2m minus 5 to the power of 3, it has the same meaning as 2m minus 5, and multiply that with 2m minus 5, and multiply that with 2m minus 5. Okay, so it's the same thing. Okay, so let's do that one step by step. So we're going to multiply this with this one first, and we can do it like this. 2m times 2m is going to be 4m squared, and then 2m times minus 5 is going to be minus 10m, and then this guy with this guy, minus 5 times 2m is going to be minus 10m. Be very careful with the negative sign, guys. This is like not 5 times 2m. This is minus 5 times 2m. Okay, the last one is this one here, which is minus 5 multiplied by minus 5. You get positive 25. And again, you put brackets, and then that 2m minus 5 doesn't change. Okay, so let's combine this, and we know that these two are like terms, so we can combine them. So we get 4m squared minus 10 plus minus 10 is minus 20m, right? And plus 25 in here, and then okay, last one, we'll multiply this with all of them, multiply this with all of them, multiply this with all of them. Okay, so let's do that. We have 4m squared, and then multiply that with 2m minus 5, and then minus 20m, right, this one. Remember the negative sign, be careful with that. And then multiply that with 2m minus 5, and the last one is plus 25 here. Multiply that with 2m minus 5. Okay, so let's expand the bracket again. So we have 4m squared times 2m becomes 8m cubed, and then 4m squared times minus 5. Again, remember the negative signs, very careful with that. 4m squared times minus 5 is minus 20m squared. And we have this guy with this one, again, negative sign. Negative times positive becomes negative. So it's going to be negative 20 times 2 is 40. And then m squared, because we have m times m, so it becomes m squared. And then the next one is minus 20m times minus 5. Minus, like negative times negative becomes positive, so it's positive. 20m times 5 is going to be 100m. Okay, next one, last one is positive times positive becomes positive, so it becomes plus 50m. And the last one is positive times negative, you get minus 120. Okay, the last one is to simplify. The m cubed doesn't change because this is the only term that has m cubed, And in here we have these two as the terms in which they have m squared, so you can combine them by just adding those two numbers, like minus 20 added with minus 40, you'll get minus 60, right? Minus 60 m squared. Remember that the variable doesn't change. And then the next one is this one or this one, right? So add them up to get plus 150m, and then minus 125. This one doesn't change because that one doesn't have any other vectors. Okay, so solving algebraic equation, I'm gonna teach you a little bit about the basic concept. So when you're in elementary school, you normally do it. You encounter some questions maybe like this, like a number added with 2 is equals to 5, right? So you need to fill this blank space over here, right? So this is going to be very easy because the answer will be just 3, right? Because 3 plus 2 equals to 5, right? So it works for this equation because 3 plus 2 is 5, so we can write down 5 equals to 5, right? Because yeah, it's the same thing. Okay, so but in algebra we intend of like we leave it as a blank space. We represent that into other form, which is the alphabet, like for the algebra. An unknown value, we can represent that with alphabet A, B, C, X, Y, Z, and so on and so on. Okay, so instead of writing down like this in algebra, we represent it like this. Let's say the blank space that we don't have in here is a variables. We call it variables. The alphabet that represent a number. So let's say that that is a. So I can write that a plus 2 equals 5, right? So a is this one over here. Instead of like leaving it blank, we put it as a variable or a letter. Okay, so on how to solve this, so pretty easy. You can do it like that. But in algebra, we need to do it like step by step. And the step-by-step process is like this. So the basic concept is to make the variable alone in one side of the equal sign. So it can be on the left side or on the right side. So here we have these two things, these two terms on the left side of the equal sign, and this one here on the right side of the sign. So remember, the basic is that we need to make this alone in one side of the equal sign. For this one, it's not alone yet because it has this one, right? It's still on the left side of the equal sign. So we have these two terms on the left side because we want this to be alone, so this guy needs to be gone. Okay, so how to make it gone. Okay, so we're going to use the concept of like arithmetic operation. So how can you make this disappear? Well, it becomes 0 because a plus 0 is just a, right? So to make that into 0, you subtract it by 2. Okay, because 2 subtracted by 2 equals to 0, and then a number added with 0 is equals to that number, right? So I can do something like that. So it's a plus 2. I'm going to subtract that with 2. So which means that this will be gone because 2 minus 2 is equals to 0, right? So in here, the case is because this is an equation, it is equal. So whatever you do on the left side of the equal sign, you do the same exact thing on the right side. Okay, so because I'm subtracting 2 on the left side, so I do the same exact thing on the right side. Okay, see what I'm doing here? Okay, so subtract by 2 with the left side, and you do the same thing on the right side. Okay, so we get a plus 2 minus 2 is just a because a plus 0 is a. This is 0, and then 5 minus 2 is equals to 3. Right, so this is the value of a is equals to 3. So the same thing with here, right? 3 plus 2 is equals to 5. Okay, so this is how we do it in algebra, because this is just a simple equation. You will get more complex, but the very basic concept and step-by-step process you need to understand for this one. Okay, let me give you another example. Let's say I have 2a is equals to 6. Okay, so just remember that in algebra, 2a means 2 multiplied by a. We don't write down the multiplication sign again because like if I say a, this is actually 1a because 1 times a is just a, right? So it's actually there being multiplied. So again, if we see 2a means this is like 2 multiplied by a. So again, the same concept. So we want to get the a because we want to find the a for this one, right? We want to find the value of a. How do we make that alone in one side? So we need to get rid of this, right? We need to get rid of that, or like making it into 1, because we know that a is the same thing like 1 times a, right? it should be alone if this one disappear or like gone. Okay, so how to do that? Because they are being multiplied, 2 times a is just 2 multiplied by a, we can divide both sides by 2, right? Okay, again, we do this because we want to get rid of the 2, right? So you can like cancel 2 divided by 2 is just 1, right? This is 1, 1. And we get 1a. 1a is the same thing like a, right? So it's just a. So 6 divided by 2 is equals to 3, okay? Okay, so let's go back to number 15. We have this equivalent to this one. So the first thing that you need to do to expand these brackets, right? So let's do that. Okay, x plus 3 multiplied by x minus 5 and then multiply by x plus a. Okay, so multiply that, we get this one becomes x squared, and this guy becomes minus 5x, and then this guy becomes plus 3x, and then this guy becomes minus 15. Okay, so again, put the bracket on it, and then we do the same thing like before because we can combine these two like terms. So we'll get x squared minus 5 plus 3 is minus 2x, okay, minus 15, and then x plus a. Okay, the next thing we do is again we multiply that. We do the same thing as before. We have x squared multiplied by all of them, right? So we get x squared multiplied by x plus a, and then this guy minus 2x multiplied by x plus a, and then the last one is minus 15 multiplied by x plus a. Okay, so let's do that in another line here. So let's multiply that. We get this one with this one. We get x cubed plus ax squared, and then we have minus 2x squared plus, sorry, it should be minus vector from here. Remember guys, the negative sign, be careful of that. And minus 2x times a is going to be minus 2ax. Okay, so it's going to be like this. We have minus 2ax, and then the next one is this one with this one. It's going to be minus 15x, and the last one is going to be minus 15a. Okay, so in here we can simplify this by, again guys, remember, if we have like the same exact variables in which it calls like terms, so we can combine. Like this one, we have like these two terms, they both have x squared, so we can combine it. So this is a little bit different because that we have that a in which we don't know the number yet, so we do it like this. Okay, so instead of like just like adding like 3 equals 2 equals to 5, because we don't know the a, so you can write it down like this. Okay, so the a and then add it with minus 2, so I can write down a minus 2, and then because the variable is x squared, so you leave the x squared here. And then the same thing with the one we have which has an x, and this guy and this guy, right? So you can write down plus and then in the bracket like minus 2a from here, and then minus 15 from here, and then because they have the same variable which is x, put a bracket and then plus put the x, and then the last one we still have that minus 15a, so just write it down on the back side. Okay, so let's go back to the question again. As we have seen on the top here, that this guy, right, will be equivalent to this guy, right? Because the form is the same. This is like, oh, this has x to the power of 3, and then this one have x to the power of 2, and then this one has an x, and then this one doesn't have any x, right? So we can choose for any terms that we want. Okay, so for example, for this one, right, the one that has an x squared in here is 4x squared, so which means that the a minus 2 will be equals to 4. Can you see that? Actually, where do I get this? Because in here the coefficient of x squared is 4, so which means that because they are equivalent, so in here the coefficient of x squared should also be 4, so this guy is going to be equals to 4. Okay, so does that make sense? Okay, so if I do this, so remember when we have the solving algebraic equation, so you need to get rid of this one, right? Because it's on the same side as the a. We want to make the a alone in one side, so we need to get rid of that minus 2. So in order to get rid of that, we only need to add that with 2, because minus 2 added with 2 equals 0. A plus 0 is just a, right? So let's rewrite that again. We have a minus 2 equals 4. I'm going to add both sides with 2. Remember that we need to do it in both sides. So whatever you do on the left side, you do the same thing with the right side. So a minus 2 plus 2 is just a plus 0. A plus 0 is just a, right? 12 plus 2 is equals to 6. And here you go, you have the final answer. Actually, we have another choice. I mean, like you can choose this one, or you can choose this one or this one, right? Because all of them has a. We're finding the value of a. So what if I choose other terms? Will it be also equal to 6 for the a? So let's do that. Okay, I'm gonna pick this one over here, right? This one over here doesn't have any x. So if you see in here, right? So the one that doesn't have any x is this guy. This minus 90. Remember, the minus is the part of the 90, so it's minus 90. So which means that if I rewrite that again, which means that minus 15a will be equals to minus 90. Okay, so that makes sense, right? So it's minus 15a. This guy is going to be equals to this guy because both of these one and this one doesn't have any x, right? So I'm gonna write down like this. Okay, so the same thing with solving algebraic equation. You need to make the a alone in one side, right? And then you need to get rid of this one, which means, right, that minus 15. So how to get rid of that? So actually, guys, this is the key. You do the opposite operation of the one that is being done with the variables. Okay, so here, this is minus 15 multiplied by a. So what is the opposite operation of multiplication? Of course, it is division, right? So when you want to get rid of this minus 15, you do the opposite operation of multiplication, which is division, right? So you divide that. Divide with what? Of course, with minus 15, because we can cancel these two numbers, right? Minus 15 times minus 15 is just 1, right? 1a is just a, right? So you do the same thing with the other side. So we have minus 90 divided by minus 15 is also equals to 6. You'll get the same exact answer, okay? Okay, another example, given that ax plus 1 times x minus 3 times x plus b is equivalent to 2x cubed minus 3x squared minus 8x minus 3. Okay, so find the values of a and b. So we do the same thing like before, guys. So we need to expand this so that it has the same exact form as this guy. Okay, so we need to expand this one first. So we focus here. Okay, so ax times x is going to be ax squared. And then ax times minus 3 becomes minus 3ax, and then plus 1 times x is going to be plus 1x, which is x, and then this guy times this guy becomes minus 3. Okay, so for this one you don't really need to like to combine them. If you don't want to combine them, just leave it like that. So I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna go straight to multiply all of them. We have ax squared, this guy, multiply with all of them. So you get ax squared multiplied by x plus b, and then this guy minus 3ax, multiply that with x plus b, and then plus x, this guy, which is multiplied with x plus b, and last one is minus 3 multiplied by x plus b. Okay, let's expand it again. So we have ax squared times x becomes ax cubed, and this guy will be plus abx squared. And then minus 3ax times x becomes minus 3ax squared. And we have this one, it's minus 3abx. And then we have this guy becomes plus x squared. And then this guy becomes plus bx. And then this guy becomes minus 3x. And then this guy becomes minus 3b. Then we can simplify like this. Okay, equals to ax cubed, because it doesn't have any other x cubed in here. So left the ax cubed alone. And then we have this one being combined with this one and also this one, because all of them have x squared, right? So again, you only need to like add all the numbers. We have plus, and then we have bracket ab, and then minus 3a, and then plus 1, right? So where do I get the ab? Is from here. Where do I get the minus 3a? Is from here. And where did I get the 1? Is actually we have 1 in here. 1x squared is just x squared. Okay, so just write down all of the numbers ab, minus 3a, and 1 inside the bracket, and then after that you write down the variables that you have, which is the same for all of these three terms, which is x squared, right? So the one that has x squared, and x squared. Okay, so the next one is the one that has x, which is this one and this one and this one, right? So I can write down again plus bracket, so write anything that's not x, which is minus 3ab. Gonna be minus 3ab, and then this one here, which has this b, right? So it's plus b, and then last one is this one, minus 3x, so it's gonna be minus 3x. Okay, and then the last one is this guy over here. It's alone because it doesn't have any x, so just write down minus 3b. Okay, Now we all get all the materials here because we have the same form as this one, right? This one has x to the power of 3, x to the power of 2, x is x, and then doesn't have an x, right? So they have the same exact form. So like the previous example, guys. So you only need to see, because we're finding a and b, so find the one that has a and b. Okay, so for example, let's start from the first one. We have a x to the power of 3. Okay, so the one that corresponding here is this guy, because this guy has x to the power of 3. This guy also has x to the power of 3. So we can say that, oh, that ax to the power of 3 is going to be equals to 2x to the power of 3. So this guy is going to be equals to this guy, because both of them has the same exact variable, which is x cubed. Because they have the x cubed, you can, oh, I can just cancel that, then a is going to be equals to 2. So you get the value of a. Okay. So the next one, find, although we can see that, oh, this one has also a, and this one also a, but this one is like, we have a lot of things to calculate, right? So find the simplest one. Okay, find the simplest one. Although we can use these two, this one or this one, but it's going to be more complicated than the one that we just done. Okay, so for the next one is find also the value of b. So pick one. So you can pick this one, or you can pick this one, but it's like a little bit too long. Why don't we use this one? Because it's like, oh, that one is alone, like minus 3b is a very simple calculation, right? So what you need to connect is that connect this guy with the one here. So which one this represent in here? Is it like the 2x squared? Is it like the 2 or the minus 3 here, or like the minus 8, or this one over here? Okay, so for this one again, because that minus 3b, this minus 3b here, doesn't have any x, so find here the terms that doesn't have any x. Which one is it? Yes, it is this guy over here, right? So we can write it down, and I'm going to use the greatest one. So minus 3b, I can say that minus 3b, this guy, is equals to this guy, minus 3. Okay, so as I previously mentioned, guys, solving algebraic equation is just like making the variable alone in one side of the equal sign, so the other must like leave, like gone. Okay, so how can we do that? Remember that the previous example, because we only need to do like the opposite operation of what's being done to the variable, and here the minus 3b, it means that it's minus 3 multiply with b. Okay, minus 3 multiplied by b. So the opposite operation of multiplication is division. So just divide this by what? By minus 3. Because if we divide this by 3, you can just cancel these two numbers, right? So it leaves only b on the left side of the equal sign. And then remember that whatever you do on the left side of the equal sign, you need to do the same exact thing on the right side of the equal sign. So you divide this also with minus 3. So I will leave that b is equals to minus 3 divided by minus 3 is equals to 1.